Welcome, I'm Professor Sever, and today we are going to consider an example of a discrete probability distribution function and compute the corresponding expected value and standard deviation. Let's begin. Good afternoon. Let's consider the following problem. The number of arrivals per minute at a bank was recorded over a period of 200 minutes, with the results shown in the table below. We want to answer the following three questions. Using the concepts of probability, determine the discrete random variable in this problem and write the corresponding probability distribution function. Using the probability distribution function, we want to determine the expected number of arrivals per minute. We can see that as an average. In fact, that's what the expected value is. It's the so-called weighted average. And we also want to compute the standard deviation of arrivals per minute. So how do we do this? Well, we'll do our work in this area right to the side of our table. So first, to answer the first question, I will say that x, our random variable, is the number of arrivals per minute. So without looking at the table, we would say this is anywhere between 0 and some maximal number. Now from the table we can see apparently the range of the outcomes of the random variable are 0 through 8. Okay, so now to continue we want to write the probability distribution function. And of course you would handle this problem the same way that you would handle it if you were doing it by hand. But the only difference is at some point we'll be engaging in Excel to do some of the computations. All right, so let's see what I'm going to do. So this is x. We want to write p of x. Okay, now I've copied and pasted these values. So first let me delete these. And we could do this again by hand, but I just want to show you how you can do this quickly with Excel functionality. And you don't have to do it this way. You could just add this column that I'm about to compute over here, but I want to start with a good clean table so that what we write in this area will be the probability distribution function. So we know that there are a total of 200 minutes. So what is the probability of 0 arrivals occurring? Well, we know it's equal to 16, that value, divided by 200. So you click on this cell, make sure you write the equal formula, click on this value to get the numbering, divide by 200. And there are other ways I could do this. I could write 200 as a cell perhaps here and then reference this cell in the division. I've just hard-coded it. Now, we know the way Excel works. If I just click this and drag, we should have all the values created. Let's test one of them, an easy one here, number 5. 20 divided by 200 should be 1 over 10, which is 0.1. And in fact, that's what we get. Click on this and you look up here. If you can see it, you should see the formula. This should be B13 divided by 200, and it is. Okay. And as another quick check, right? Still, we can do our sums, equal sum. So let's add these up. And we can add these. Of course, I could click and drag, but for instructive purposes, I'll just type it. And of course, this is 1. The probability should be 1. Good. And of course, we could have done the same thing back here. If we wanted to, we could have added these up. And we could have added these up. I'm just typing the word sum. Of course, always put an equal when you're using a formula in Excel. All right, 200, that's what we saw here. So now, really, this number is not too meaningful in any way, adding these numbers up, but I did it just for illustration. And I did it here too. So this is the value that we really want. So I did it here just to show you that this, in fact, is the probability distribution function. Okay. Now, really, now we need an add-on. So again, Excel can probably compute this itself, but let's do it as we would by hand. We need another column, x times p of x. Always start with equal. Click on the cell, type the Shift 8 for the times, click on this cell, and you see it's multiplying E9, E, column E, cell 9 times column F, cell 9, E9 times F9. What you want to do, you want to multiply these values, and then we want to click the right corner, click, hold, and drag. It'll copy the results, centering it to make it look nice. And again, if we sum these up, this will represent the sum of these values in this column, but the sum here is the expected value. So this is right here, this is our expected value. So our expected value, just typing, is 2.845. Let's summarize. Here is the probability distribution function. This is just an extra column that we use to compute the expected value. Now we want to compute the standard deviation. Now remember, our formula for the standard deviation, first we have to get the variance. So to get the variance, we need to compute x squared, just to make it read like it is. All right. And then times, and again, to help this, what we could do is create an x squared column so we don't have to do that step mentally. Of course, we don't have to. We could do that step mentally. But since we're using Excel to make the computations, why not capture all the intermediate steps? All right, so this would be x squared. So you want, what do you want? You want to take this value and square it. Click, hold, and drag. It'll copy the formatting. Center it for nice effect. Now, what do we want to do? We want to multiply x squared times the probability, so equal to this value, h9, times this value of f9. Okay, so again, it doesn't make any sense to sum this up, so that's kind of nonsensical. So is summing up this. No real reason to do it. So here's what we want. So equal, type sum. Make sure you get them all. I'll center it for good effect. And now, what is this? Now this is e of x squared. Remember, this is not the variance. This is just e of x squared. Okay. So what do we want to do now? Now our formula, if you recall, just to type it, our formula for the variance is equal. This is not an equal sign for Excel. This is equal for the formula. So it's this value, which is e of x squared, minus this value that we had, quantity squared. Shift 6, or the caret, and then typing the 2 is the Excel command for squaring. You could, of course, do star and times it by itself. That's another way to square the result. Okay, and so therefore, this is the variance. And so how do we get standard deviation? It's the square root of the variance. So what we do is we type equal, I believe sqrt is the command. Click the cell, and that's it. So here are our 3 results in red. Expected value is 2.845, which is the mean of the probability distribution function. Some say it's the mean of the random variable. Our variance, which they didn't ask for, but we needed as an intermediate result to get to the standard deviation, is 3.290975, etc. So this has 6 decimal digits of accuracy. Our standard deviation is the square root of the variance, which is 1.814104. And there we go. Thank you for watching this video on discrete probability distributions. We'll see you next time.